Today we'll talk about identifiable. As the name suggests, identifiable means being able to identify something as unique or as the thing itself. So, for example, this is actually very much related to the list and for each we'll talk about in the next few videos. So, for a list, for example, there the input is a collection of items, but sometimes the items can be the same. Right? For example, if you're searching on Amazon, maybe and maybe the advertisement shows an item, and then in the item search results it shows the item again. So in this case, to better utilize the system resources, if the two rows are showing the same item, we might as well just reuse these views, right? So inside the system, behind the things, SwiftUI will reuse the views that is already rendered for the items with the same ID, So we supply that ID by using identifiable. So do note that the ID for each item should be unique. So for example, if you are showing two different orders and you assign the same ID value for two orders, SwiftUI might think that it's actually the same order and then display it as the same rows. So it's very important that identifiable should represent the ID or the unique ID of the item. For an order, it could be the order ID, or if you're doing a directory for your employees, you should not only contain the name because two employees might have the same name, but you might also want to include like the date of birth or some identifiable information. So let's take writing. So for example, if I have a struct, okay, so for example, an employee has a name and then have a date of birth, which is a string. Name is also a string. All right. So to confirm a struct to identifiable, you will confirm this. So basically put a colon and then put identifiable. Now the system will let you know that it's looking for a variable with the exact name called ID. So if you click on fix, it will show a variable with the name ID. Now, this variable can be of most common types. Usually it's a string. So for example, let's change this to string, and then you return the value of this variable either when you initialize in this view, but most of the cases you do it by computing the value. So you just include the block here and then you return the value, right? So here, as I said, the ID should be unique for each object. So in this case, we can use the string which has the objects within it, so we can combine the name. So just as I said, if you just include the name, if two person has the same name, and if you display the employees in a list within SwiftUI, it might cause the view to show to be the same. So basically we can also include, for example, the date of birth. Of course, if you have like an employee ID number, we can just directly return this employee ID number here. So this is identifiable. In the next few videos, when we are talking about list and for each, you will see that why identifiable is important, and you will see how we are using identifiable within the list or within the for each initializers. For now, I also want to talk about that if you don't want to modify the structure of your struct code, what you can also do is to create an extension. So for example, extension employee, which conforms to identifiable protocol, and then here I can provide the ID, which is a string, and then I can return the employee ID. So this is also a way to do it if the struct is in another file that you don't want to modify. So this is identifiable. Now, I just want to quickly talk about it, that in list and for each, it's better just to mark this, struct as identifiable. In some cases, if you can also mark some system types as identifiable. For example, we can mark string as identifiable, and in this case, we can actually return the content of the string or the string itself. So by doing so, um, we are making string identifiable and directly usable in list and for each. Of course, because string is a public, here we have to declare this ID as public. So let's just fix this issue. And now we made string identifiable. So basically you can do extension, and this is the structure name or your class name, and then you can say identifiable, and you provide a variable with this computational value, and then just make sure the variable has the exact name as ID, lowercase, and can conform to some basic variable types, but usually we use a string. So here you can return a combined value, using the slash and colon within a string, or you can just directly return the ID, the unique ID that is already stored within your structure or class. You can also make the system types conform to identifiable by using an extension. So that's identifiable. You don't have to understand all of this because we will actually begin using the concept of identifiable within the list and for each video. All right, see you in the next video.